continuation of our last minute revision series, I am continuing with the classification of cost. In yesterday's videos or in the previous video, you have learned about the meaning of cost of capital, the various colloquially used terms, and where it is used. That is the significance we have learned, and also elements. The next part which you need to learn is the classification of cost. What is classification of cost? Here basically we are trying to find out the various types of cost we have. The first one you have is the historical and the future cost. Historical cost is nothing but past cost. The cost which you have already incurred, which is irrelevant for your decision making now because you cannot change anything. It is already incurred, which has already been paid. That is your historical cost. The cost which you are going to estimate for the future, that is your future cost. Here you are trying to estimate how much you are going to incur. This is more relevant in decision making because this will affect your future business plans. Therefore here you are trying to estimate your future expenses, which is your future cost. Then you have specific and composite cost. This is the repetition. Yesterday I have explained you already what is specific cost. Calculation of cost of each source of finance is your specific cost. Nothing but for each various sources you have debt, equity, preference, retained earnings. Individually you are trying to calculate the cost of each source you have. That is the meaning of specific cost. What is composite cost? In case of composite, together of all sources, you are trying to calculate the average cost of your business of the various sources of cost of capital, which is your composite cost. Composite cost is the average cost or overall cost. As I told you yesterday, specific is for each individual source you have. Then you have explicit cost and implicit cost. What is explicit cost? Explicit cost is the cost which equates your cash inflows to your cash outflows. The cost at which your cash inflows are equal to your cash outflows, the rate of return at which or the cost at which both becomes equal, that is your explicit cost. Implicit cost is your opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? I'll give you an example. Let's assume that you went out and you want to have ice cream as well as pani puri. Please don't curse me, ma'am. Inta time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂತ example ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ. But yeah, even I feel like going out, but it will not happen. At least I'll imagine and keep myself happy. So your parents will say either ice cream or pani puri, either one of which you can have. Then finally you will think, okay, ice cream is even more dangerous. Idaru at least heat ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, this is better anta you will go for masala puri. You will have. Now if masala puri price is around 25, what is the opportunity cost of ice cream? The opportunity which you have foregone is the ice cream. Now maybe it is around 20 rupees andre the opportunity cost of ice cream is 20 rupees. Like that in case of project, if you have foregone any opportunity, that is the opportunity cost. Then we have average and marginal cost. This concept is repeating, it ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಬರಲ್ವಾ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. Average cost is nothing but your composite cost or overall cost of capital. What is marginal cost? Again, this also you have learnt in the costing but in different perspective. Let's assume a business has 5 lakhs in its business and it is running successfully, doing well, earning profits. Therefore it wants to expand. Now it needs additional 2 lakhs. When you are raising additional 2 lakhs, there will be cost associated with that, for which you need to pay returns to the investors. The additional cost for this what you incur in raising the fund, that is your marginal cost. Marginal cost is the additional cost incurred to raise the additional funds required for the business. To raise this additional 2 lakhs, what is the extra cost you are incurring? That is your marginal cost. After this basic theoretical background, we will continue with the computation of cost of capital. Ma'am, this is MCQs. Why are you teaching us formulas? And definitely you need to practice problems. Don't think that only theory based questions will come. You need to know computations, calculations, arriving at answers, everything. Therefore, I am going with formulas again to brush up things so that you will not worry where to put what, etc. And you will have neat detail of all those things which you need to learn. Computation part, we have come to the practical aspect. Again, here there are two types. In part 1, you are learning computation of cost of capital of each source. In the part 2, you are going to learn about computation of WACC. As it is mentioned earlier, in the specific computation of specific source of finance, you will calculate cost of debt, cost of preference, cost of equity, cost of retained earnings. The cost of each source will be computed separately or individually, and together of all these sources will be computed in case of WACC. First, you have debt. As you all know, debt is the acknowledgement of loan received by any firm. So, in return for debt raised, any company has to pay interest. So, therefore, what is cost to the company to raise debentures? For debt raised by the company, interest is paid to them, which is the cost. So, this is the cost, this is the fund raised by the business. Therefore, cost of capital before tax in case of debt is I divided by NP. If debt is issued at premium or discount, in such a case, if it is issued at par, it is I divided by P. To raise the debt, company is paying interest, I divided by fund raised, P or NP. It is as simple as this. So this is how you calculate before tax cost of debt. As you know, in case of debt, always you will have taxation benefits. You get tax benefits. Therefore, after tax it will be I into 1 minus T divided by net proceeds, or it is I into 1 minus T divided by principal value. Then girls, we have two types of debt. As you know, that is in case of calculation of cost of capital I am talking about, redeemable debt and irredeemable debt. What is irredeemable debt? Perpetual debt or irredeemable debt will not have fixed tenure or fixed maturity period. It doesn't mean that these debentures will not ever be